Hey guys, welcome to this live session by Intellipaat, and in this live session we'll be looking into AWS Certified DevOps Engineer. So we'll be looking into the job opportunities and the preparation for an interview. So basically, to get a job in any profile, first of all you'll have to know that technology. So we'll see what is AWS and DevOps and how to get certified in AWS DevOps. What is the learning path to become an AWS certified DevOps engineer? So once you're certified, then you can just go ahead, apply for jobs. That I'll show you how. It's pretty simple. Any job seekers would know that. Go to job portals or just type in the role in Google and you will get a lot of job offers over there. You can go ahead, apply and start off with your career. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the agenda. So first I'll just give you a brief about what is AWS and DevOps. So many of you may be beginners or maybe in college. So to give you an idea about that, I'll introduce AWS and DevOps. If you want to learn more about AWS or DevOps, go ahead to our YouTube channel. We have AWS tutorials and complete DevOps tutorials, which are around 10 hours, and you can learn most of AWS and DevOps from it. And then we'll move ahead to DevOps certification. So that's the main ideal over here. So once you get AWS DevOps certified, then you can move ahead with applying for jobs, because you will know these services. Obviously, if you have cleared a certification, then you would have practiced the technologies related to that and you would know how that technology works. Then we'll look into the roles and responsibilities, and we'll look at few job descriptions. What are they expecting from a DevOps engineer or an AWS DevOps engineer, as well as we'll look into the top companies who are hiring right now. So these companies, I just typed in the role name in Google, and obviously you will get a list of jobs which are available, posted in various different portals by various different companies. So I'll just point out few of the major companies who are looking for an DevOps engineer right now. So if you are currently pursuing for that particular role, you can go ahead and apply for that. And then we'll look into the services to learn to become an AWS DevOps engineer. And then I'll show you how to get started. That is basically how you can start learning AWS, then DevOps, and then AWS DevOps Tools. So it's basically how you can start off learning AWS DevOps. So first, let's look into what is AWS. So if you already know what is AWS, it's basically a cloud provider. So what is a cloud provider? So these companies, they provide services over the internet. So let's say you have a PC at home, but the PC has Windows on it. So you want let's say a Linux system, but you don't want to basically install another, you don't want to dual boot your system, or you don't want to run a virtual machine on your system, because let's say your PC is a little slow and you don't want to slow it down furthermore. So what you can do is you can sign up with AWS, which is pretty simple. You can go ahead, provide your email ID, username and details, and then give the details of debit or credit card. It is basically for verification. You obviously get a year of free services, so you can take that up. Once that is done, you can launch a Linux server over the internet, and you can use that server on your PC with just an internet connection and nothing else. So it's pretty simple. So let's say one more example is that you are having a Mac laptop, and obviously you cannot run certain Windows applications on it. So if you want to run a Windows application, what you can do is you can go ahead with Amazon Web Services, run up a Windows server online, and you can run that server on your Mac OS, and you can start using that. So it's this might be a little confusing, but once you get to know what is a cloud provider and how does it work, then it's pretty easy. So I'll just read it out. AWS is a platform which helps businesses scale and grow by offering secure cloud services like compute power, content delivery, database storage, and other functionality. So the main importance of a cloud provider is that they take away the need to create an on-premise setup. So let's say a company like Netflix is completely on Amazon Web Services. They are totally using Amazon Web Services for their infrastructural needs. So why did they do that? Why don't they just buy a warehouse, set up servers, databases, servers, email servers, whatever they need? So why don't they do that? Because that would be their own property. No one is going to enter into it. So the thing is, that will increase the costs So that will increase the spending from Netflix. They'll have to maintain that. They'll have to increase security so that the data is not stolen. They'll have to hire security professionals and other workers. So this will obviously increase their spendings. So what Netflix did was, they were using Amazon Web Services up to a certain extent, then they went all in with AWS. So what AWS provides so that Netflix went to them? So it's pretty simple. AWS provides the platform where Netflix can launch up servers, database servers, or any kind of tools, AI, ML, data science tools, BI tools. It has all kinds of tools. You can launch those services and you only pay for what you use. So for example, if you have your own company, so you have your own data center. So if there are 10 servers, you're always paying for the 10 servers, because the 10 servers is always running, even though only 5 servers are utilized, 5 servers are idle. Then you'll be paying for those servers in electricity and other maintenance costs. But if you're using AWS, you can set up that, let's say you want 10 servers. So if your traffic is 50%, then only you need five servers. So AWS will take care of that. It will only give you 5 servers at that particular time. Whenever the traffic increases, the number of servers automatically increase. So guys, I'm giving a brief explanation. If you want to know more about AWS, go ahead and check the tutorials to understand it completely with examples. Okay, so AWS also has one more benefit. If you have an application and you're basically a freelancer or you're doing it for a hobby, but you want to release the application online. So what you can do, you can either, again, you can set up a server by yourself, or you can go ahead with AWS. The biggest benefit of using a cloud provider like AWS is that they have availability zones and regions all across the globe. So your application which is launched, let's say in India, so that application can be hosted in a server which is running in US, and that application can be used by US customers without any delay, even in Europe, so even in Australia. So you can host your application anywhere in the world by sitting at your home and using your PC. So that's how simple it is with AWS. So now what is DevOps? Then we'll move ahead I'll explain you what is AWS DevOps. So first of all, what is DevOps? DevOps is a methodology, it's not a tool. So dev and ops, basically development and operations. So in any IT firm, there are two main pillars of that company: the development team, obviously they build the software, and the operations team who configure the application and release it online and maintain it. So now there will always be some let's say quarreling between these two teams. So let's say the development team says it works on their platform, and when they release it to the operations team and it's not working on that platform, so DevOps will bridge that gap. So what DevOps is going to do is, using a set of tools, processes, and combination and collaboration between people, we can make the entire software development lifecycle an automated process. So you can see it's an infinity symbol. It starts with plan, then create, verify, package, release, configure, and monitor. So this process keeps on going. That is, to develop a software, you will first plan it. That is, you will understand the requirements, you will plan what you need to do. Once that is done, you will start building the application, and then verification is basically testing the application, whether it's working on your platform, whether let's say beta testing and all that. So once that is done, you will package it. That is, you will wrap it together and give it to the operations team, who are going to release the software for public use. So once it is released, then you will be obviously let's say monitoring the software continuously. When there is a bug, that particular bug will be sent to you and you will be rectifying it. So this process, so once it is monitoring and there is an issue, that issue will be again sent to the dev team, and again they'll plan how to resolve that issue, and this process will be going on automatically without any human intervention in most of the parts. That is, you can plan anyway the software should be built by people. Once it is built, then it's pretty easy. So you can set up testing platforms, you can set up building platforms, you can also set up release platforms and monitoring platforms. That is, once you create and build the software and push it on, so once it is pushed to a GitHub repository, it is tested, it's built, it is tested, it is packaged, it is automatically released into a staging environment, you may want to test it again, and then it is released into the production environment, and then the monitoring process will automatically start. And when there is an issue, you can check out the monitoring tool to find it out. And once you find it out, again, you can go ahead with the process. So the only main process here is development. So this makes the application, this makes you have a lot of time to create an application instead of planning every single stage of the software development lifecycle. So coming down, DevOps is not a tool or a team. It is the process or methodology of using various tools to solve the problems between the developers and the operations team, hence the term DevOps. Okay, so I think I've given a basic definition. So remember this simple point. If you don't know about DevOps, it is basically automating the software development lifecycle from creation till monitoring. Okay, so we've seen that. First of all, before going into the certification details, I'll explain what is AWS DevOps. So AWS is a cloud platform, fine. DevOps is a methodology to automate the software development lifecycle. So how does these two come together? So first of all, to create software, to build software, you need tools. To release software, you need tools. For every single process, you need certain tools. So using AWS, you can launch servers in which you can build your software, you can test your software, you can push your website into, and you can host your application over there. You can do every single operation in AWS. So now an AWS DevOps engineer will specialize in using AWS for DevOps. That is, this particular person who is an AWS certified engineer will know how to use AWS, how to use DevOps, and also other tools. So under DevOps, let's say tools like GitHub, then there will be tools like Jenkins, there will be tools like Nagios for monitoring, Xdeploy, and then there is Chef, Puppet, Ansible. So this particular person should know all these tools as well as AWS services. Only then he can or she can clear the examination. So that examination's code is DOP-CO1. So this is the code for the AWS DevOps certification. So I think you would have understood. So DevOps is basically automating the software development lifecycle. Now, if you're doing that with the help of AWS, then you can go ahead with the AWS DevOps certification. Okay, so first of all, what is it? The AWS Certified DevOps Engineer - Professional. So this is DOP-CO1 exam. This is intended for individuals who perform a DevOps engineer role with 2 or more years of experience provisioning, operating, and managing AWS environments. So I'll tell you this. First of all, you cannot directly become a DevOps engineer because you should have worked in the IT profile. Only then you can move ahead with DevOps engineer, because every single role in DevOps engineer requires certain experience on using GitHub or other DevOps tools which that particular company is using. Okay, so that's what I wanted to convey over here. Then, so to clear the DevOps certification, what should you go through? So they have content domains and their ratings. So there are 6 main domains which you'll have to concentrate on. So this is not randomly taken values. These are taken from the official guide provided by AWS. So for the AWS DevOps certification, so you can check that out online. You can just type in AWS DevOps certification and you'll get the official site. You can go in and download the guide and check it for yourself. So under this, there is SDLC automation, there is configuration management and IAC, which is infrastructure as code, monitor and logging, policies and standards automation, incident and event response, high availability, fault tolerance, and disaster recovery. So that percentages are the ratings of questions in the examination. So if there are 100 questions, there would be 22 questions from SDLC, 19 questions from configuration management and infrastructure as code, and the others. So I think you got the idea of how this works. Okay, so first of all, SDLC automation, which is basically software development lifecycle automation. You should know all the tools required to do that, maybe in AWS as well as other DevOps tools like Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins. Then configuration management and infrastructure as code. So configuration management basically deals with tools like Chef and Puppet. So you use this to manage the configuration in all the servers. So let's say you have 10 servers having the same application. So all the 10 servers should have the same configuration, right? So you can use a tool like Chef So you can create a master and all the other servers will be your slaves. So what you can do is, this master should be connected with all the other slave servers. So once that is connected, you can upload the configuration file to the master. So the master will take care of master will take care of making sure all the servers connected to that are having the same configuration. So this is what configuration management like simply is. This is not the whole thing. And then infrastructure as code, where you can create a JSON file which you can use to create a complete architecture. So if I go deep into this will take a lot of time. I'll give you a basic idea about this. So first of all, SDLC automation, configuration management and infrastructure as code. Then monitoring and logging does not come third. Third comes incident and event response. So I'm saying third in the percentage, that is the weightings. Okay, so incident and event response in the sense there would be a lot of troubleshooting. So because you will have to, whenever there is a bug, whenever the application is down, you should know how to respond to that. You should know how to solve that. So that comes under. And then comes high availability, fault tolerance and disaster recovery. So first of all, high availability in the sense the application which you are hosting online should be always available for the customer. It should never go down. Even if it goes down, it should come back up immediately. Fault tolerance and disaster recovery. So when you have an application hosted in a particular availability zone, if there is a, let's say there is a calamity happening over there, let's say there is a huge storm and the data center is completely off and you cannot host your application over there. So you should have a replication of your entire application in another availability zone for this particular issue, so that when the application goes down over here, we can start off the application over there. So basically recovering from a disaster. So once this availability zone comes back up, you can go back to using this. And then comes monitoring and logging. So you need to know how to monitor all your essential tools required for SDLC automation. You should know how to monitor your complete software development lifecycle in a single go, and also logging. And then comes policies and standards automation. So this is mostly theoretical. You should understand the policies and the standards of automation of the company you are in, as well as the regulations. So the thing is, to automate any software, you will need certain policies that this should happen and this cannot happen. So you'll have to figure out what is that, and then you'll have to work towards that. Okay, so these are the basic content domains and their weightings for the AWS DevOps certification. So now the recommended AWS knowledge you will need to clear this particular certification: 2 or more years of experience provisioning, operating and managing AWS environments. So to clear this particular examination, the recommended AWS knowledge given by AWS themselves is you should have at least 2 or more years of experience working on AWS. And then comes experience developing code in at least one high-level programming language. So only if you know to program and create applications using it, only then you can easily understand the SDLC process. So that is required. Experience building highly automated infrastructures, that is creating let's say again an SDLC lifecycle which is automated, or a DevOps lifecycle. Then experience administering operating systems. So this is basically monitoring when there is an issue, when there is a problem, troubleshooting it. And understanding of modern development and operation processes and methodologies. So this is, let's say you're using a certain tool, and in the market there is a new tool which will make that process much simpler. But if you don't understand how it works, then you cannot take that up. So let's say you're using Jenkins and suddenly there is a new release called Jenkins 2.0 which makes the CI/CD process much simpler, and you're still using Jenkins for SDLC lifecycle, and sometimes that might not be appreciated because you should adapt to the modern development. And if there's a much easier way of doing something, you should move towards that. Okay, so this is the recommended knowledge. Now the DevOps learning path to attain the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional Certification. So the thing is, there is no prerequisites to take this up. You can directly take up the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer certification, but it is not recommended because it's a very advanced examination, and the recommended path to get the certification is provided by AWS. So you can check this path out. First of all, you can take up Certified Developer Associate or the SysOps Administrator Associate certification by AWS and get that certification by clearing those exams. So you can do this in your first year or second year of your job. So once you did this, you can either take up a DevOps engineering on AWS or advanced developing on AWS courses, so you can learn how this actually works in the real-time industry. And then you can take up a practice exam on DevOps engineer before taking up the actual exam. So DevOps engineer exam readiness exams are pretty cheaper than the actual exam, so you can take that up, and if you're confident enough, you can give a go to the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer and you can get the certification. So this is a simpler path, but this will take a lot of time to achieve if you're going to take up this particular path. Okay, so you can take this up. Next, the examination details for the AWS DevOps certification. So you can see here the examination is multiple choice, multiple answer. It is a professional type. Then the delivery method is you can take it up in a testing center. And right now, as you know about the COVID situation, there is an online proctored exam as well. You can take that up. And then time 180 minutes to complete this particular exam. Cost 300 USD. If you're taking it up, if you're taking the practice exam, it is 40 USD. You can also, as I told you, this is for professional. If it is an associate certification, which is AWS Certified Developer, the cost of the examination would be 150 USD and the time would be 130 minutes, and practice exam cost would be 20 USD, and the languages available will still be the same, which is English, Japanese, Korean, and simplified Chinese. Okay, so these are the exam details and this is the learning path. Let's move ahead to AWS DevOps Engineer, roles and responsibilities. So first of all, so let's say you have learned everything you need to know about AWS DevOps Engineer. Then if you want to become an AWS DevOps Engineer, you should understand the roles and responsibilities of one. So first, who is an AWS DevOps Engineer? So an AWS DevOps Engineer will design and develop automation using AWS and other DevOps services to support the CI/CD workflow or the DevOps workflow. So to be very simple, an AWS DevOps Engineer will create an SDLC, that is a software development lifecycle, using AWS and other DevOps services together. Okay, so we saw this, who is a AWS DevOps Engineer. So I think you would have understood that point very easily. Now coming to this, now let's check out some AWS DevOps job descriptions. So these are two job descriptions which I found and we'll compare this. First of all, this is an AWS DevOps Senior Engineer job description. So at the very beginning, you can see, don't process any profiles without the below must-have skills. So these skills below, which are must-have, so not must, good to have is not a problem. It's not required that you know those tools, but in any job description, you should know the tools which are provided in the must-have section. First of all, code repositories, GitLab is must. Runner, Bitbucket configurations tools. Then you should know Docker, you should know Chef, Ansible, so Bash scripting, Groovy. Then under AWS services, you should know ECS, Fargate, Lambda, SNS SQS, CloudFront, Code Build, configuring CloudWatch, Secret Manager, Active Directories, Serverless Application Model, Service Catalog, Kubernetes. And then comes Jenkins, Maven, NPM automation, and then Rundeck. So these are for CI/CD, those are AWS services, those are Docker and code repositories. So these are some of the must-have tools, and you can see there are a lot of AWS services and DevOps tools involved together for an AWS DevOps Senior Engineer. And then this again is an AWS DevOps Architect. So under this, you can see the job description is pretty simply provided. First of all, implement and stay abreast of cloud and DevOps industry best practices and tooling. So this is basically theoretical. You should know how the cloud industry and the DevOps industry is moving ahead. And then also you should be an expert in these three tools: AWS Code Commit, AWS Code Build, AWS Code Deploy, as well as AWS Code Pipeline. So these are developer tools provided by AWS. These are not separate DevOps tools. So I just wanted to show two different JDs to show how much it varies. So basically it is dependent on the company you're applying for. So in this company, right, if you want to take up, you should know all of these tools. If you want to take up in this company, which is GroupSoft, they have provided you should be an expert in 4 main tools: Code Build, Code Commit, Code Deploy, and Code Pipeline, and also good communication skills. Obviously that is needed for any job. Okay, so we've seen the job descriptions. You can go ahead and check out job descriptions in various job portals like Indeed, Glassdoor, let's say a Monster. You can check that out. You can figure out what tools you know and what you'll have to learn, and then you can register for an application. Okay, so you've seen that. Now, what are the companies which are hiring DevOps engineers right now? So before taking up this session, I looked into companies who are currently hiring for DevOps engineers. So it's pretty simple. Just go to Google and type AWS DevOps engineer or Azure DevOps engineer or just DevOps engineer, because any DevOps engineer would require to learn cloud tools. So if you're just searching for a DevOps engineer role, even then you should understand the basics and know how to work with AWS. So these are the top companies which are hiring currently for DevOps engineers. Anyone who is aspiring for a DevOps engineer job, you can go ahead and apply for those jobs and go ahead with the interview. So there is SAP, there is Paytm, Amazon, Oracle, and Dell who are currently looking for a DevOps engineer. But you should remember this: all of these companies require an experienced DevOps engineer. So do not apply if you're fresh. Don't apply if you're a fresher. Just take up a developer post or any other software engineer post, then move ahead with DevOps engineering. That would be a better career choice. Okay, so now we've seen that. Now you might also have a question of what are the services should I learn, because we saw various different job descriptions and it had contrasting tools which you'll have to learn. So let's see what are the main tools you'll have to learn. First of all, in AWS DevOps, these are the top developer tools provided by AWS themselves. So you learn Code Commit, Code Build, Code Deploy, and Code Pipeline thoroughly. So learning these tools is important. Then comes the AWS Services and the DevOps engineer tools. So under AWS Services, learn every single tool if you want to, but there are hundreds of tools and you cannot learn all of them. So take up 10 or 15 services which are extremely important for a DevOps engineer role, such as EC2. EC2 is basically a server creator. You can create servers, maybe Linux or Windows. And then Amazon RDS is a relational database service where you can create databases. That is also required for any company who develops software. And then Amazon EBS is for volume. Amazon Direct Connect is for connecting the cloud, the cloud architecture with your on-premise setup. Then there is S3 for storage, Elastic Load Balancing for balancing your website's load. And then Route 53 for routing. It's basically a DNS server. And then Amazon VPC is more of an AWS concept in which you can create virtual private cloud. That is creating a network within the cloud so that all the resources within that particular cloud is not available for the public. And Elastic IP address is basically an IP address which you can use to locate your server, which is the EC2 server. Okay, so these are the services in AWS. And you can see the DevOps engineer tools. First of all, you'll obviously need to know a source control tool, either it's GitHub or Atlassian's Bitbucket. So let's say that company is using the Atlassian ecosystem, go ahead with Bitbucket. If not, GitHub is the most commonly used version control tool. And then configuration management, Jenkins is a CI/CD tool as well. And Jenkins and Puppet, Chef, you can take that up. Ansible, learn all these tools. For cloud, learn both of AWS, Azure. If you want, you can learn GCP as well, or take up any one of these cloud tools, either AWS or Azure, and go ahead with that. And then comes Docker, LXD for containerization, and for orchestration comes Kubernetes. So containerization, again, you'll have to go ahead and learn DevOps, only then you can understand these concepts. But just remember this, you'll have to learn Docker, very important. Kubernetes is very important. Okay, so these are the services which you'll have to learn if you want to become an AWS DevOps engineer. So AWS, given that, you should learn the AWS services as well as these 4 tools. And then you should also learn other DevOps tools like GitHub, Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, Puppet, Chef, Nagios, and there are so many DevOps tools which you can learn from. But again, don't learn all of those tools. Take up certain tools and learn them thoroughly. So now we've looked into many concepts. We learned a lot of things regarding AWS DevOps. So we've come to the last part, which is how to get started. So how to get started in the sense, how can you start learning, and also how can you start, let's say, how can you start applying for jobs? So every single thing I'll tell now. First of all, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. So you cannot take away education from a person, and that means if you are taking up something, maybe so let's say the investment can be either in time or in money. If it is in time, take up all the free courses available, check out all the free tutorials on YouTube, check out all the blogs available. We at Intellipaat, we provide you an Intellipaat blog in which you have so many different blogs and tutorials for AWS, for DevOps, for Azure, for data science, for every single technology need you want. You can check out our blog. And then currently you might be watching this YouTube live, or you might be watching it on webinar. So if you're watching it on webinar, you can check out our YouTube channel. If you are in our YouTube channel, then you know how to check it out. Just go to our channel, check out all the tools, not all the tools, check out all the tutorials we provide: AWS, Azure, DevOps, data science, machine learning. Check that all out. So all of these is for free. We also have come up with another free platform for you guys, which is the Intellipaat Academy, which provides you free foundation courses which you can start up with. So let me show that to you. So this is our site for Academy, which provides free courses. It's the same, intellipaat.com/academy. Coming down, you have 2 things. First of all, you can sign up for our upcoming webinars. So you can click on view export classes, and you can see, not yet. If you want to get notifications, you can click on that. So guys, so you're seeing this, I guess, AWS DevOps Engineer Career Path and Job Opportunities. So obviously this would have been over by right now when you're seeing this. So you could have come here and just registered. So let's say you want to check out tomorrow's workshop on how to create load balancers in cloud. Just click here. Click register over here, give your name, country, and then just click on submit, and it's done. So you will start off with that. So you'll get a link in your mail right before the session starts, and you can join the session, which is the webinar. And then comes our free courses. We provide Java, C and data structures, MS Excel, MS SQL. So these 4 courses on the top are complete courses, not foundational courses. These have everything in them, you can check out. And then we have a lot of foundation courses for AI, AWS, DevOps, Azure. So let's say you want to start off with AWS, then you can just check out our foundation course, understand the basics, and then move ahead. Okay, so first of all, let's say you want to take up a free course from us. Click on the free course, go down, click on take this course. So you can see all the things we provide. So either you can give your name, your email ID, phone number, and register, or you can just use a third-party login, Google or Facebook, and then you're good to go. You can take up that course completely for free. And then going back to these slides. Okay, so we've seen that. The next thing I wanted to show was our official site, which provides online courses led by industry professionals. So coming down, you can see this particular certification, AWS DevOps, is in collaboration with IBM. That basically means this. So you'll get a certification from us and IBM combined. So you can see you'll get the certification from us with an IBM logo on it. So it's basically recognition from IBM themselves, because we are in collaboration with them. As well as you get 3 projects in this particular course. So you can see there is an AWS project, and there is one more full on creating a website AWS project, and finally there is a DevOps project using AWS as well. So I think you can see that. Going up, you can check out the content which we'll be teaching in this particular course. You can either check everything over here, so you can see there are so many topics we'll be teaching. So there is the introduction to AWS, and we'll teach all of AWS. Once that is done, we'll start off with the DevOps process. Once that is done, we'll also teach you the 4 important DevOps tools, which is code build, code commit, code pipeline, and code deploy. So you can see we've added a new topic, which is deploying infrastructure with Terraform. So Terraform is also important. You'll get this as well. Then comes Terraform modules and workspaces. Again, these are some new concepts which we have included in this particular course, and you will be heavily benefited from taking up this. So you can either call us at this number. So I'll leave this number at the end of the session. So you can either call us at this number or call us at this number if you're from any other country. Call us at this number if you're from India, or you can drop a mail to the mail ID which I'll be showing at the end. So one more thing, guys, if you're watching this webinar or watching this in the YouTube live, so you'll be getting a YouTube 30 coupon code, which you can use to get a flat 30% discount in any of the courses Intellipaat provides. You can go check that out. You can apply this code, get a 30% discount, and get your course and start learning. So guys, we've come to the end of this session. I hope this session was informative. So I'll leave this slide for another 5 seconds, and another member will continue from here in the webinar. So I'll be taking leave. Thank you. So if you want to contact us, mail us to sales@intellipaat.com, or you can basically chat with our course advisor. I'll show you where it is. So this is our course advisor chat. So if you provide all the details over here and your number and your email ID, we'll contact you back as soon as possible. So you can check that out. Okay. So I'll leave this. Thank you for attending this session. Meet you in the next session.